Flow 3. Boundaries are an act of love. At 56 years of age, most likely more than a half a century into my own life, it's only these last few years that I studied psychology and truly began to understand where I was seeping out. That I hadn't truly created a container of clarity of what I was going to welcome in my own behavior and others' behaviors in my life. My circle has consciously become smaller. And as I get clear with boundaries, I recognize that they're truly the strongest form of self-love, self-forgiveness, and the ability to look at a window into my soul of what I want to welcome and what I no longer welcome, personally and professionally in my life. And for you, in this moment, recognizing that the moment we begin to establish boundaries, that we no longer chase the need for approval from others professionally or personally, from friends, from family, from colleagues, that we begin to establish a clear container of energy that allows us to truly protect our peace. However, what is essential is not just identifying what our boundaries are, but recognizing the importance of having the space and time to communicate clearly what our boundaries are, first to ourselves, then to others in the workplace, and then to those in our home. A very, very strong dynamic begins to shift once you become clear in yourself. And most importantly, the most important boundary is, how do we want to show up? What do we need to create safety in our home and in our life, in our professionalism, with clients, with colleagues, with family, with children, with friends? What are the boundaries? Recognizing attached avoidant. Are you always the one reaching out? Are you looking at your phone, wondering if somebody's going to text you back? That you don't have to chase. That if there isn't a mutual flow in communication back and forth in a healthy way, and it's a one-sided relationship or an unheard boundary, or an unrespected request for you to be able to communicate the boundary, then you get to reel it in. You get to become clear. And once you become clear, you have a fundamental human right to request the time and space to communicate what that boundary is to those in your life. Then there's a pivotal moment that happens. Once you begin to step out and watch your interaction with family, with friends, with coworkers, colleagues, clients, and you truly begin to watch behavior, watch what happens when you clearly communicate the boundaries, or watch what happens when people resist providing you the time so that you can communicate the boundaries. Take a breath into this. This is really, really big, and it's important to be ready for it, because you can only do this work when you're ready to practice non-attachment to the outcome of how people respond to you when you set the boundary. People may fall away. Children may fall away. Family members may fall away. Colleagues may fall away. Friends may fall away. But what remains in the wake of those who may fall away is that you've established a container of peace for your life. Then you watch, do they lean in? Are they listening? Are they showing enough respect for you to hold space to communicate the boundary? Then people either lean in and fully listen and fully honor the boundary, or they push the boundary. Push it, make an exception here, make an exception there. Do you hold the boundary, or do you let the boundary get pushed? Then there are those who are going to completely ignore the boundary and try and continue to walk on you like a doormat because they are ignoring the boundary. Therein lies your pivotal moment to make a decision. And what you will accept and what you will no longer accept personally and professionally. So you establish the boundary, you get clear on what's going to work and what's not going to work, which means eliminating all toxicity. In the process of creating the boundary, you ask, where do you feel safe? That's the most important. What do you need in your life, in your home, to create a safe, sacred sanctuary? What do you need in your workplace so it feels thriving and not toxic? Then identifying what the clear communication is and what you need and what you would like to bring to that. And then asking yourself how you want to show up within these relationships yourself. And then having the power and the ability to practice the non-attachment to the outcome, no matter what the outcome is, when you do your best to clearly communicate the boundary. What often happens is that people will avoid even creating and allowing the space for you to have the conversation about what the boundary is that you're wanting to manifest or communicate. Oftentimes, this is because people have never experienced a boundary. And like I said, they're either going to lean in and honor it fully, or they're going to keep pushing it, or they're going to completely ignore it. That is the pivotal moment of time where you get to realign and get very clear on what's more important. Allowing the boundary to be pushed or holding the container that's going to bring you peace. When you practice non-attachment to the outcome of your boundary, the pushing, the leaning in, the ignoring, then you create a new foundation for your life. Either people can rise to your wave, swim in the wake, but as long as you know what you need to feel safe, energetically in your home and in your life, that is essential. Then you watch. Like a movie. Allow breath. What is a boundary? A boundary is asking yourself what you will live with and what you will not live with. I will not live with toxicity, verbal or physical abuse, name calling, shame, blame, criticism, trauma, eye rolling, gossip, harassment, sexual harassment. Those are all things I will not tolerate. Raised voices, none of that. I welcome kindness, peace, and respect, both for my clients, in my home, in my friendships. What do you want to welcome in your own home, in your work, in your behavior? Then we have to have the courage to truly practice non-attachment. And as Buddha often talked about, our greatest suffering comes from attachment, whether we're clinging to people, to outcomes, to situations, to results. But if you consciously choose to anchor to your inner calm shoreline and you consciously choose peace, then boundaries are an act of love, not only for yourself, but for those around you. And trust that one day, that when the boundaries are established, you're setting your expectations for your life. Please consider taking time to really write after you hear this flow, to write down what you want your life to look like. What are the barriers in this moment right now? Have you ever communicated your boundaries? If this is the first time you're even thinking about boundaries, take time to get 100% clear on what kind of behavior you're going to welcome into your life, what you want your life to look like and feel like, what you want for your own behavior regarding lifestyle and choices around food and wellness, exercise. Setting boundaries for yourself are an act of love. What are you going to allow in your body? What are you going to welcome coming out of your own mouth? Is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary? Asking ourselves, am I judging, gossiping, rolling my eyes, shaming, blaming, criticizing, judging others? All the boundaries that we clearly communicate to others, it is of utmost importance that we ultimately communicate the boundaries we want for ourselves in our life. Setting boundaries is an act of love for yourself and for all of the people in your life. And remember, make sure you really create the time to communicate what the boundaries are. And if people resist even providing you the time to do so, then just watch. Watch who leans in to being willing to hear boundaries. Watch who honors the boundaries. And watch who completely disregards them. And most importantly, witness your own actions with the boundaries for ourselves. Creating clear boundaries is an act of love, both self-love and for all of those in our life.